So get up. Top of the morning to ya.
Now, back to Sunrise on News Radio 880 KCMX.
Good morning, everyone. 33 minutes after the hour. Welcome back to the Sunrise Show, and thrilled to have on the program Dr. Mark Christian. He's the founder and executive director of Global Faith Institute, based out of Omaha, Nebraska, globalfaithinstitute.org. And Dr. Mark, it's always great to have you on the program. There's so much information, and to get the correct information, the fascinating piece about this, and of course, good morning and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me. It's an honor to be your show, Greg.
Well, it's an honor to have
your work.
It's an honor to have you on, because you were born and raised in Egypt. You were groomed to be an imam, and you've gone through the Quran your whole entire life. And then your early years you're an OBGYN by trade, but worked at one of the most prestigious military hospitals in Egypt, and then started realizing that, wait a minute, this isn't really feeding my soul, and you became a born-again Christian. You had to hide your religion, and you made it to America, and you're safe now. You have a price on your head, of all things. You've had to leave your family, but it's so interesting because we Americans, now that we've been here, we are now seeing Islam and the Muslim Brotherhood through your eyes, and it's such a privilege. Dr. Mark, the first question I wanted to ask, President Obama is really staking on this, his quote, "We are not at war with Islam." The media is kind of jumping up and down about the whole, he won't use Islamic terrorists together. But what does this mean, we are not at war with Islam?
Let me start by, I don't want to, continue making a public statement about the price of my head. We are living in a very interesting times, and I don't want somebody to think that this is an easy money to get, so you can get my head off. But, we still live in an amazing country, and, I appreciate the freedom, and I appreciate the safety and the security that we have in this country, and the freedom of speech in America, that this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. We're trying to put a good fight against the terrorism and against the craziness that's going on in this world, so we can keep this country safe for the next generations to come. I was listening to and watching, as a matter of fact, President Obama's speech. When I cannot even, talk, what my feelings are, but because he's speaking out from both sides of his mouth. On one side, he says, I don't want to give legitimacy to the terrorists by calling them Islamic. At the same time, he is appeasing to their narrative about the Crusades and the Inquisitions and the West, and Christians are attacking Muslims for many years, and we are not giving them good opportunities, and many things, that he is trying to appease to the terrorist organization. So all what he's trying to do is saying, I'm not going to call them, Islamic, but I'm going to do everything else that they want. I'm going to release the prisoners. I'm going to give them what they want. I'm going to provide them with better opportunities in the West. I'm going to not speak against them in any way. So I don't know what he's trying to accomplish by that.
It's so interesting. I was talking to our listeners just before the break, and I was saying, we need to pay attention to what's really going on, and that is the extremists. I mean, the lists are huge of the attacks. The lists are huge of the groups, and they're all Muslim extremist based. But the bottom line is they want to kill us. They want to get their hands on a nuclear weapon.
Greg, yes, they want to, but this is more than actually killing. They want to intimidate the West. They want to accomplish their plans. We are getting distracted about the killings and not paying attention to the real plan. The real plan is raising their state, a strong state, Islamic State in the Middle East, and then expanding outside of that border very quickly after that. They want to have legitimacy at the political arena. They want to have legitimacy by building their own army and getting all the weapons that they need and so forth. So English is really very difficult over a radio interview. This is why I encourage people to go to our website and to listen to many of our shows, and on YouTube or on radio, talking specifically about what is the plan and what is the goal for the Islamic movement. One thing that we need to pay attention to, Greg, this morning is we need to cut the supply. When there is an attack or a threat on the Mall of America in Minneapolis by the Al-Shabaab, they are calling to people to do that. Who are they talking to, and how they are recruiting people? This is what we need to supply, and the supply is not a gang member or a group of gangs, or a cell in terrorist camp. This is coming out of the Islamic teachings, right out of the Islamic teachings, following the example of Muhammad, the prophet of Islam and the founder of Islam, when he waged war against the infidels. So we have more control over mosques and the message that is preached by each and every imam in the United States. What kind of message that is coming out of these mosques, and how they are transferring the minds and the hearts of many American Muslims in this country.
Well, exactly. And you're going to have Israel in the land coming up March 19th. And after this break, I want to talk about that, because we have, the Department of Homeland Security, Jay Johnson, and this threat at this American mall there in Minneapolis, or whatever, in Minnesota, and being more vigilant. It's like, the security teams are at high alert here, but here you go, you're having March 19th, Israel in the Heartland, and that's a night to honor Israel. I want to talk about that when we come back, because you're going to have your speakers, and it's going to be just amazing about, spreading the message of love and compassion, and really giving these folks...
And the truth, we have to do something about the anti-Semitic, rise in the Western United States. It's just crazy.
It is. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Dr. Mark Christian with us. He's the founder of globalfaithinstitute.org, and continuing great values. Just from the standpoint of Judeo-Christian, how we started, how this country, hanging on to the values of this country. Dr. Mark Christian is bridging that. It's incredible. All right, we got to get to a break. We'll be right back. More with the good doctor on the program, The Sunrise Show, News Radio 880 KCMX. We'll be right back after this break.
Now, back to Sunrise on News Radio 880 KCMX.
Shout, I'm talking to you, so come on. Shout!
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. 47 minutes after the hour. We're continuing with Dr. Mark Christian from the Global Faith Institute. And even though the Department of Homeland Security Chief, the Secretary, Jay Johnson, says on Meet the Press, well, you must be particularly careful, incredibly vigilant at the malls of America. There's been threats there that ISIS or extremists of some type might be striking, because they were able to kill like 65 people at the last mall that they attacked. And they talked about enslaving people and being slaves all around the world. But coming back home to America and keeping the message simple, you wonder where the ally is in Israel. And coming up on March 19th, you're going to be having a very, very poignant description of a night to honor Israel. Dr. Mark, tell our listeners about this.
At the time when anti-Semitic, narrative is growing like never before, as if we are living back in the history of the 30s and the 40s, it is unbelievable what's going on in this country. And when I saw, just a reporter wearing the yarmulke and walking the streets of Paris and being spit on and being hit and being called names just because he is a Jew, or he's putting some kind of outfit looks like a Jew, and that's crazy. I thought about it for a second. I said, if there's a Muslim man had the same kind of experience in any street in Europe or in America, how the President Obama himself is going to react, and how the presence of the West is going to react, and how the media is going to react. Nobody's going to ever settle for that whatsoever if one Muslim has been treated unfairly. But nobody even talks about, the reporter who is Jewish and the anti-Semitic movement. And I said, we need to do something about it. This is why I start putting an event together for, it's a Zionist event. It's a pro-Israel event. And when I start putting this together, I realized something very interesting, Greg, that I live in the Midwest. I live in the heartland, Nebraska, and I figured out that there was nothing has been put together like this before in the history of Nebraska. Can you imagine an ex-Muslim, an ex-Egyptian military personnel, and my dad and my family fought against Israel for years, and I now am a born-again Christian. I'm putting the very first, pro-Israel and Zionist event in the Midwest. That by itself is crazy and amazing, and how it shows that when you know the truth, you have a change of heart. So what we are trying to do is on March 19, we are putting the very first Zionist event in the Midwest, in the heartland, Nebraska, and we are inviting the Zionist of America President Morton Klein to come and speak. We have two Holocaust survivors, amazing and unbelievable story about their survival and how they went on and did great things for their nation, and how one of the survivors, Eugene Leibovitz, he went on and he helped founding the State of Israel. And also we invited the Counselor General in the Midwest to come and speak at this event, and we make it a celebration. We're not going to do anything other. Let's get together and celebrate the miracle that is Israel.
It's so interesting to me because it's commanded, in the Bible as far as, the Israel and, to be allies with them and to not split up what they're doing. And I just am amazed that President Obama did not want Benjamin Netanyahu to come to the United States and speak. And for 10 days, the administration was trying to dissuade them. And then he goes ahead, and now he's headed to Congress to speak in the next few days. And it's just like, wow. When Benjamin Netanyahu comes to America, President Obama does not make himself available.
He's using the narrative that the President of the United States does not meet somebody who was through a campaign, so it shows like an endorsement of the United States and so forth. But I don't think this is a valid excuse. There is more into the meeting, more than just endorsing Netanyahu for his election. This is, we are living in a very interesting times, and Israel has been at the highest time of threat from all over the nations around it. And I don't think it's the narrative of, we are sticking to this rule that we are following in D.C. I don't think even they followed that before, and they just find something in the books that can give them an excuse.
Well, the interesting thing is Israel is on the front lines. They have the most to lose. And, they're the temperature reading. They're the thermostat. They're the thermometer of what's going to be happening over there. And it's just amazing. Well, Mark, we wish you well on that event coming up March 19th. We'll be posting that on our Facebook page. We'll be talking more about that as we go. How can listeners get tuned in on that? And, of course, we're out of time. This is just amazing to me about folks being vigilant and spreading the information about what they need to know and who they need to speak about.
People need to get educated. The most problem that we have in this country is get educated. So get educated about your own Bible, about your own religious heritage, and about America and the history of America and history of the West. It is crucial to understand that.
We've been talking about the Constitution so much throughout the course of our week here on the program, and when you realize divine providence that America has started, without, that's ultimately what's happened. There's the only, United States Constitution is the only document of its kind in the world.
Yes.
So
that's 100% true. And people are sometimes don't understand what the Constitution is.
No, they don't. Dr. Mark Christian, I know you got to get going and everything, but it's great to have you on the program. We'll continue the dialogue and look forward to our next conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Mark Christian, the Global Faith Institute. Get to his website, globalfaithinstitute.org. And we'll be back more in the Sunrise Show. The Bloomberg Market Update is next. Fascinating. Back after this on the Sunrise Show on News Radio 880 KCMX and KCMXAM.com.